Hello, everyone. Coming up this week, Disney's Riviera Resort opens at Walt Disney World. The talent plus Topiaries and more was announced for the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. Plus, it wouldn't be the last show of 2019 without reflecting on the year that was 2019 and taking just a look back real quick. So we have all that coming up plus more live from the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida. This is the Diz Unplugged. This is a black screen and is also the Diz Unplugged, episode 1059 for the week of December 17th, 2019. And the Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. They're the experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And by disboards.com. Join the millions of people chatting over there about all things Disney, from Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Disney, Walt Disney World, DVC. All those discussions are happening over there, plus so much more. So head over to disboards.com and join the discussion today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged. I am your host, Craig Williams, and you might be saying, how can we do the final show of the year without Pete? And unfortunately, it's not something that we wanted to do, but the convention is happening basically at Walt Disney World right now for some of the top travel agencies and stuff called Earmarked. So unfortunately, Pete and John are busy with that. And, when John's not here, Kevin won't come. Corey and Julie are busy. Kathy claims she's on vacation. I don't think Teresa will ever come back again after last week. And so now you're stuck with all of us for the final show of 2019. But I'm going to give a couple more seconds of stalling, unless you can change from that computer, Rhino, as I announce who's here. No? Oh, yeah. No? You want? Yeah? Well, so joining me on today's episode, we have Morgan Lamone.
Hi.
Jackie Gailey.
Hi, everybody.
We have Fiasco.
Jingle, jingle.
And we have Denny Sunderly.
Hey there.
And then back on the controls, of course, I already mentioned him, so you know he's there. It's the man with the bag and stuff. So
I had something just happen that never happened to me before back here.
What?
It was a big yellow screen. It was black when we played the video, but on this screen over here it was yellow. So I don't know. New things. That's always okay. When I'm here by myself, something randomly happened. It's fine.
No, I'm okay with that. So. Yes, you're back there. Thank you for being here, Rhino. Thank you. So I'm going to apologize right now if the show is a little bit loopy for the last one of the year. I know we are all exhausted right now at this point. So we had a very, very long day yesterday, and it was tough to come into the studio this morning and actually do it. So I've taken 2 naps in the studio so far. So, Pete's living room. But
good, nice.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
I feel like you have to sprinkle naps in here and there.
Good.
So it's good stuff. But no, so it's we had a very busy day, and we're going to talk about that in our first news story when we get there in just a second. But before we get to there, I have to ask: does anyone have any housekeeping? Oh man, come on.
I just real quick, since we're here and we've got time, and I know this was something that Pete wanted to have mentioned at some point today. So Magic Candle Company, again, we have a financial partnership with Magic Candle Company. They have some great scents out there that'll help transport your home to your favorite holiday vacation destination. Make sure that when you are checking out, you enter the discount code DisneyInfo for 15% off, and enjoy. And let us know what your favorite scents are. So, love to know.
Very good. Yep. Rhino, real quick, do we have a feed going out? Can you look over?
Oh, man. Yeah, it was a second ago, and now it's not.
Okay.
Pull this closer to your mouth.
Okay.
Well, it's fine. There's nothing you really can do about it, so we will just push on through on this one, and hopefully it picks back up with everyone. So,
it looks like the internet might have dropped out.
Yeah, it's okay. So we will continue on with the show, and hopefully it comes back. and we'll look forward to that. But anywho, moving on with that. So Magic Candle Company, you said?
Yes.
Good stuff.
Disney info for 15% off.
Very good. Anyone
Check it
else? Housekeeping.
Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yep.
Happy
I wouldn't spend it
birthday.
anywhere else.
Yay. Our birthday
Says the
princess.
person who keeps asking us what time she can leave.
No, I didn't know I was going to be on this show till like 5 minutes ago.
No, you knew yesterday when I told everyone else in the room. I told every single person. Did I not?
I love Morgan. I don't want to hurt Morgan.
It's my birthday.
Anyone
It's
can.
my birthday.
Throw her under the
Anyone
bus.
can feel free to
No.
hurt her feelings.
No, I love being here. I do.
Okay.
I forgot I was
We're glad
supposed to
that
be
you're
on
here.
this show, and I'm glad I'm being on this show.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
Very good. Well, happy birthday, Morgan. And, oh man, what else should we talk about? So I guess we should announce that, I already said that this is the last episode of the year for this show. It's not the last episode of the year for the other shows we have on the Diz Unplugged podcast network. We'll have the Disneyland show tomorrow, and then we will have Universal on Thursday, plus Best and Worst on Thursday, and then we will also have. Will we have anything for Friday?
Friday will be. I don't know. I don't think so off the top of my head because everything went up early because of Riviera. But stay tuned for next Monday for a very special episode of the DVC show where we asked people from DVC fan Facebook group what they think the best resort to spend the holidays at are. So that was a good conversation.
Yeah, very cool. So that will be what you can expect this week. So I'm also going to say here too, because I announced it for the Disneyland show tomorrow too, but I know there is crossover. Tomorrow is a very special episode of the Disneyland edition because it is our final episode of that show ever. So
Forever.
So
You done been canceled.
we have,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, we have.
Sad.
It is sad.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna move past it. And then I just have to mention too, beyond that, we will have stuff released all throughout our hiatus from the shows. We will not be coming out to you live with the Tuesday show until why did I not pay attention?
It's like the 8th.
7th.
Oh, okay,
7th. Yes, we will be back on January 7th with our next live episode because you could not pay me enough to be here on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. On top of that, I will also not be here for Christmas Eve, so it'll be fiasco just sitting by himself in here.
Yay!
Happy birthday.
You guys want that, right? Just me sitting here with you?
Right.
I think so. I've heard
Quality
great
time.
things. Great things. So we'll be back to you then with the live episodes, and all our shows will probably, the ones that we record out of the studio, like Universal, that will all come back that week as well too. But we'll still have some best and worst. We might have a dining show or two. So plenty of vlogs, plenty of content that we haven't released yet from the marathon show for the content that we will release. So just keep an eye out for all of that. So
Cool.
I have nothing else to say on that.
I just, Patreon people, you'll probably have some posts going up over the holidays too. So there'll be, I know, feelings on Star Wars. Well, my feelings on Star Wars will be there because I will also be in Massachusetts when that movie comes out. And whatever, other stuff. I got a Frozen thing. My full thoughts on Frozen without being interrupted by anyone will be in there, as
Wow.
well as some of the other stuff I was doing. But yeah, check that out. Patreon.com/DizUnplugged. Wow, that is special.
What a good idea. What a great gift to give someone for the holidays.
That was the Owen Wilson.
subscription to Patreon. Just unplugged on Patreon. But that's not being facetious. It's
Well, you
there's some cool
could have access to the entire marathon show
Yes.
at this moment if you're
And
a $10 and up tier member.
That is a great point. I have been having nothing but an upward struggle with the marathon show, but finally, the entire show has uploaded to YouTube. I just have to find a minute to sit down and send out the links. Wow. So
Cool.
you will, if you donated or if you want an auction item, you will see it very soon here. I apologize again. It's been very hectic here. And then if you are a Patreon member, you will see it as well on Patreon and enjoy it. It's good stuff. So, like the last hour and a half of nuttiness will be exclusive to that, and the Q&A with Pete's mother, Madeline, will be a part of the exclusive. So you won't see that on our channel regularly. But all that being said, let's move on to the news. We've got a big one for you, kicking off our news week is that Disney's Riviera Resort has now celebrated its grand opening at Walt Disney World. So, what if you're asking, hey, what's this Riviera thing? Who wants to do the best job at describing what Riviera is?
I can bring us in on that. So Riviera is a DVC only resort. That doesn't mean that you have to be DVC to stay there. There's plenty of cash rooms available, but it is a DVC only resort. And what that basically means is, unlike something like Wilderness Lodge or the Grand Floridian, where they have a hotel side and a DVC side, these are all DVC rooms. So it's all your home away from home type of rooms. This takes inspiration from the French/Italian Riviera. There's a little bit of a mix going on there. Like people like Denny have mentioned, she's been greeted in French and then been told goodbye in Italian. So that's pretty cool. There is a restaurant up top, similar to some of the other deluxe top of the world type restaurants, where you can get a character breakfast. You can see our vlog out on that. We did do that, and then they also have a signature dinner experience, which we also did, and I think most of us preferred. Well, I won't speak for everybody, but I preferred the dinner.
Intriguing. That is a very good. That's a very good overview, I'd say, in general. So, it's lots of different options in terms of the room sizes for you, from Pete's ridiculously extravagant 3-bedroom grand villa to 1-bedrooms. And are there 2 bedrooms there?
Are there 2 bedrooms?
There are.
They're also the Tower Studios. And
Boy.
a cool thing about the Tower Studios is that they are really small, but they are a great value for DVC members. So you can get those for really, really low nightly points, as low as I believe 9 points a night, which is very low for DVC members.
And the location is amazing. Yeah. I mean, when I think about it, if you come during festivals at Epcot, just to be able to walk less than 5 minutes to the gondola and scooch right over to the International Gateway, and you're there. I mean, that is so cool. That is just cool.
They really put a lot of mixed art around the resort. You have those mosaics as you're walking to the Skyliner for Peter Pan and Tangled, which I thought were amazing. And then as well, I fell in love when I did the tour at the DVC Preview Center at Saratoga Springs. The first thing I fell in love with about Riviera was the art. And then to come to find out, they're making the art that's available inside the rooms. When you stay in the rooms, what they have up on the wall, it's available for sale, like the Aristocats painting, the Little Mermaid painting, the kind of long one. It's amazing stuff. You should check it out.
Yeah, really cool. I'm kind of in love with the Mickey and Minnie pencil, the little charcoal pencil sketch.
Yeah,
that's
those
right
are cute.
Above.
Those are cute.
Oh, yes.
And there's a lot of Disney touches, and Craig, you'll probably touch on this because I know this was something that you took note of, but there's a lot of, at first glance you think, I don't know, this is super Disney, but when you start to really take, with a sharp eye, a keen eye, just look at all of the art that surrounds you and just all the little touches, you'll see that's Walt and Lillian in that picture on one of their vacations along the Riviera. There's lots of little touches. Walt is everywhere in the resort. He is very, very well represented.
No, and I personally do not care for the resort. It's not for me, but I understand the appeal of people who have already been there and loved it and would want to stay there. It definitely did not. It wasn't aesthetically pleasing for me, and I did not like the jumbled artwork. The artwork is so beautiful, but if they could have kept it to like French-inspired movies as well as Italian as well too. I know that's not a lot to draw from, but it would just help a little bit more, because for some reason I was just overly offended by the fact that we're going to include Princess and the Frog, which, I love Princess and the Frog. I think it should be included somewhere at one of the hotels, especially very heavily at Riverside. But then they just put the Princess and the Frog poster hanging up in the bathroom next to the toilet, which I feel like that's just, it's kind of offensive. But I think the poster's also trying to show after they both turned back, then they're going together as frogs or not frogs, as humans, and exploring all the other places. But it's just little stuff like that kind of irritated me, and so it it just didn't do it to me. It didn't feel cohesive. But I will say my favorite part of that resort was there's a coffee bar called Le Petit Café, and the overflow seating next door to it has a bunch of games that you can play if you're sitting on there. It's a good place to have your coffee in the morning as well as a glass of wine or a cocktail at night. But there
I
are
thought you were talking about in the morning.
no, and in the
Cocktail
morning.
in the morning.
But there is so many little hidden details to Walt's travels to Europe in this room alone, like a little signaturing Pinocchio and other stuff. So it's a very cool room. It's one of the most Disney rooms that you will find anywhere, and talking Walt specifically. But it definitely didn't lack the Disney touches. It just didn't do it for me as a product all around.
Also, there is a ton of hidden Mickeys, high, low, in the rooms, in the lobby. So be on the lookout for those. I won't spoil for any of those that want to find him. But there's a Minnie, Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Pluto somewhere in the resort, too. So look for those.
But are they really hidden when they're just blatant?
I think the rug design one was hidden, but
That one was, yeah.
It was subtle.
sorry, I just told you where it is.
Wow, way to
Look in the
spoil
rug.
it for everybody. I was trying to avoid
Spoiler
that.
alert.
I think that one's one that people should be paying attention
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, you should know before you go into that resort where that one is, because I think it's one of the best photos you can take away from it. But what else are we missing about it? I know we have vlogs out and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was to say.
There's also, we have people who won't watch the vlogs that just wanted a little taste of what we thought of these other things. So
Or just the listeners out there.
yeah,
Forget about you guys.
exactly.
Definitely something I think that is a step up is the merchandise that they released for Riviera. As far as other DVC properties go, it's been pretty sterile as far as the merchandise that's released. Like maybe you'll have a few items of resort exclusive merch, like a t-shirt and maybe a baseball cap or something like that, and then a handful of things that just say Disney Vacation Club on it. But for Riviera, they kind of went all out. There's all sorts of Riviera merch, basically anything you can really think of.
There's ears, there's plushes, there's shirts, there's bathrobes, photo frames, lounge fly bags.
Yep.
There's so much.
Yeah, there was a lot. All the ladies in the store were just going insane. The ladies and Pete, that is, so it should be inclusive. But no, it's I got so uncomfortable in that store so many times because it's tight. And that's another thing I don't really care for about the resort. Everything feels tight there. The lobby feels very small. And I get that maybe it's it's in its full flow that there won't be a lot of people hanging out in the lobby. But it just, at least there yesterday, the lobby was not big enough to hold the amount of people who were there. The gift shop was small. The quick service and bar and everything were very, very small. There was one staircase that,
It's very narrow.
it was very
yes.
narrow,
Very narrow.
to the point that I'm like, I know people who probably could not, if they went down it and someone else came up, then you get in this awkward situation of what happens here? So,
Well, and you can't help but compare it to Grand Destino.
Yeah.
So, and you have that sweeping wide staircase leading down to Barcelona Lounge. And so it is kind of a stark contrast when you put them together to go, okay, why so? So, and the same with the lobby. Jackie and I were talking about the lobbies and comparatively speaking. So one against the other.
yeah. And I like a good big lobby.
Oh, also, the kids area is very fun as well. Rhino and I had fun playing with the other games on the little touchpad that they have there. So that's also very cool.
I also did not care for the snootiness of the staff at Topolino's for dinner when it turns over, because at dinner it is a signature. And it was the way that they talked to me in there, taking photos and stuff. I was in an area where I wasn't disrupting anyone's dinner. I specifically went to that area so I wouldn't. But just the way that they talked to me, and they told Denny to okay, you can go in, but you can't go past this point. And you guys were dining there in 30 more minutes anyway. So it's it's just something about that really didn't sit well with me. Everyone does want to go and see that view from up there, and they want to know what it's like, but be nice. You're at Disney. You're a Disney restaurant, so.
And it was opening night, and there were a lot of people invited to kind of come and help publicize and to help others who couldn't be there understand what the experience is like. So yeah, that was a little it was a little abrupt there at first.
Yeah.
You go this far, no further. However, I've got to say our servers at dinner last night were amazing, and you can watch the vlog.
Yeah, you'd never think it was their first night.
No.
With everybody, they were phenomenal.
Christopher and Christina.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was almost like I've had like dining experiences before, like we've been to Haleo and stuff like that, but this was something, and I don't know if they were doing it for opening night, if this is something that's going to continue, but it was like everything that came to our table had a history lesson attached to it. Yeah, it was really cool.
And our server, he was amazing
Yeah.
with all the stories. They both were.
Yeah.
They like Morgan said, it didn't feel like it was their opening night. I mean, it felt like it had been open for years. They knew just what they were doing, and oh gosh,
They were incredibly passionate about what they were getting to do.
yeah, you could see the pride, and that's what I just loved to see.
Yep.
They were so proud of their restaurant, and it was really cool. I liked that about our dinner experience. So
Yep.
yeah.
Good stuff. So I know we'll end up talking a lot about Riviera probably over the next couple weeks. So there was already one live stream last night exclusively on DVC Fan on Facebook. So there was that for you. All the vlogs, like everyone mentioned, that are up there and able to watch. And I'm sure Pete's going to want to do a full show once we're all back from the holidays on Riviera again. So we'll have more on that as the weeks and days go by. I don't know what happened there at the end, but it's fine. We're going to move on to our next news story, and that is that Garden Rock's talent, Topiaries, and more announced for the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. So the festival begins March 4th through June 1st, 2020. So we have to decide what we're going to do. Will we rush to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway on its first day, or do we go to Flower and Garden?
Probably Flower and Garden, I think.
Yeah.
About that.
The next level in attraction, or Flower and Garden. But
Flower
it's a wonderful
and
event. So let's go over what we can expect in 2020, though. So on March 4th to 5th, I'm not going to go through. I'm just going to name all of them, not when they're
You're
going
not
to be
going to
there.
read the entire list.
No, but
Oh,
I will read
man.
the list. I just won't read the dates that they're there too. You can go on the website and look at that. The links will be in our show notes. But you can expect to see Peabo Bryson, brand new this year, Simple Plan, Starship featuring Mickey Thomas, Mark Wills, new to Garden Rocks, The Spinners,
What is going
Sister Hazel, The Pointer Sisters, former Journey lead vocalist Steve Augeri, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Expose, Berlin, Rick Springfield,
Oh my God, I love Berlin.
Plain White Tees, Don Felder, formerly of the Eagles, Don McLean, new, Ambrosia with Peter Beckett, new, Thelma Houston, new, the Almond Bets Band, new, Air Supply, Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noon, Mike Del Guidas, and Big Shot, new.
I saw Air Supply there, and they were really good.
Daughtry, new. Corey Martin will be there first day.
No,
my
I
husband-
thought Daughtry had come before.
Universal.
Oh, I'll go with Corey to see Daughtry.
There you go.
I am a fan.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
Marshall Tucker Band, and Survivor. So, of course, if you're very excited about any of those concerts, you can book a Garden Rocks concert series dining package for one of the shows that they'll have during the day, and you get your guaranteed seating. So, new Topiaries are also going to be coming to the festival as well, too. And Denny is pumped about this
Yay.
one. It's going to be a brand new Remy Topiary that will be the centerpiece of a Ratatouille garden in the France Pavilion, where Remy's Ratatouille Adventure will open in the summer of 2020.
Perfection.
Surrounding the topiary will be vegetables that are used in a recipe for ratatouille. So who knows them by heart?
Oh, there's
Ratatouille.
onion and eggplant
Yes.
and tomato and I'm trying to basil. Is basil? No, basil is not included.
Zucchini.
Zucchini. That's it.
Yep.
Good stuff. Good.
I'm impressed.
Stuff. So let's keep moving on. 17 outdoor kitchens and other food and beverage stops are coming to the 2020 festival as well. So it's like Honey Treats will be at the Honey Bistro, citrus-based goodies at the Citrus Blossom, sweet and savory pleasures at Florida Fresh. So, and this is just on top of the fact that Epcot never looks better than during Flower and Garden Festival. The flowers are in bloom. The flowers are also in bloom, and they look good.
I wish they.
So
What is that description?
Okay.
the flowers are in bloom.
And they're in bloom.
Yes.
Also.
Also.
They really should leave them up all summer, though, don't you think?
I don't think they'll make it.
Yeah. They
That's
usually
true.
struggle
The sun
with
would
at
fry
least
them.
one or two. Yeah. It's
I
suppose
think
so.
the concert lineup is pretty impressive. I'm not gonna. I think over the years it's gotten more and more. You remember, like years ago, it was pretty much just like cover bands. It'd be like 2U, the U2 cover band, you know. And now
isn't that for the
That was Flower
other?
Power.
Yeah.
oh, that was for Flower Power, and now it's Garden Rocks. Well, I like that it's more similar to like Food and Wine because it's like you get. Every now and then you'll get a name that like Daughtry or something like that, or like I like seeing the '80s stuff too, and other bands, Smash Mouth, Hanson at Food and Wine, and so like having that kind of experience, it's what draws me in there, and I think it's it's fun to go and
Absolutely.
watch and
Flower
enjoy.
Flower and Garden is my favorite time of the year for Epcot. It has been for a number of years. That's when I would plan my vacations for when we were living up in Massachusetts. We'd always plan to come down for Flower and Garden. And comparatively, being able to be at all the festivals this past year, Flower and Garden, I liked the booths the best. I really did.
I prefer Christmas.
I like the
That's me.
Festival of the Arts myself.
I like that one, too.
That's all I did.
We all like a
That's a good
different
one.
one.
Yeah,
I'm
interesting.
excited for Flower and Garden because I haven't done it in 6 years, and I've never done Festival of the Arts. So
Oh, you're going to love Festival of the
Yay.
Arts.
I'm very excited.
Wacky and wild stuff.
Good gravy.
Very good. Anyone have anything else to say on Flower and Garden Festival? No? We said it?
Flowers.
Okay, so this is a story that's kind of off the beaten path from what we would normally cover, but it is very exciting nonetheless, I think, and that is that Disney announced the new stores and restaurants that will be coming to Flamingo Crossings. So,
Oh, we get a Disney store
What?
in the Target. Are we getting a Disney store?
No.
Oh, that's
the
what this
Target.
photo is.
No, the Target.
The Target
is,
has the Disney.
That's the Disney store inside the Targets.
That's
And-
what. Are we getting a Disney store
Yes,
inside of the Target?
We are.
My question.
Sorry, I did not hear.
Yes.
He was doing Mushmouth, I believe,
Wow.
from Fat Albert, and I
Fat
couldn't
Albert.
quite get it. But
Jim,
The
it's
answer
fine.
is yes.
Yeah. Yes, we will be getting the Disney store in that Target.
Fine.
So that's right. I'm going to be that stereotypical person and call it Target. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Just a
So-
trip to Marshall's, Target.
Yes, yes. So if people don't know what Flamingo Crossings is and why it is important, it's because it is just off of the 429 entrance into Walt Disney World, the Western Way area. So it is an area of Walt Disney World that is, I mean, it's not technically Walt Disney World because they sold it off, but it's an area that is very much up and coming right now if you weren't familiar with it. And they announced a lot that will be there. So including there will be 50 shopping and dining options plus 1,700 parking spaces. So the 2,500 square foot Target that we've already talked about in depth will be there. And it will be an anchor to that entire area. But Disney has also secured PDQ, which is a chicken place here in Orlando that is pretty good. I think I like Huey Magoo's a little bit more than PDQ, but they're both good. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
No, I like Huey Magoo's.
Well, you'll like the next one. Bento Asian Kitchen and Sushi.
You know I love bento so much.
Yeah, Bento is a sushi place and kind of like Chinese style bowls that we love going to. There's one over by Universal. There's one
Asian
downtown.
fusion.
Yeah, and
Asian
I don't
fusion,
like sushi at all, but I love bento. I love their boxes.
Yeah, it's really
Cool.
good stuff. So there will be a Five Guys. It's hard to find those around the United States. Ben
rare.
and Jerry's and a Dunkin', and then Walgreens will also build a store
Wait.
on the outer edge of the center.
Craig, can you explain to me again where this is? Because this is not what I thought. I thought I knew Flamingo's Crossing is by like where the CP housing is, isn't it?
Well, the new CP housing that they're about to be building as part of this area. So
Is
the
Flamingo Crossing okay? Then
429.
429 and Avalon Road and then Western Way. So it's kind of the back entrance. There's an official Walt Disney World entrance.
What else is there?
The Spring Hill Suites. the two new hotels that you can see from 429, they're off to your right.
There's not a lot there right now. It is
really
building
isn't.
up.
If I were going past Coronado Springs and taking the right, is that the way
Yes.
down where I'm thinking?
Yes.
You go down
okay.
Western Way, and that leads you
Guys,
directly
I don't know the
into
name of streets.
429.
That's Western.
and
Okay.
Then after that, you can get on 429 going south or north.
Yep.
Oh. So so this plaza is like all new, brand new stuff.
Yes.
Okay. It's not like a reinvigoration of a current thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So it will definitely. The reason why I wanted to bring it up here is because it will also, once all the housing is over there and stuff, I'm sure it will be insane.
Yeah.
And it will be hard to actually.
Right now it's very quiet over there.
Yeah, it's
It
still
is.
very quiet. So if you're looking for like an off-site hotel right now before it's all built up and stuff, it might be a good area to look. But it's really in a very easy area to get onto Walt Disney World property. So it's not something you should overlook.
And
in my
I think they're bringing an additional 4 hotels. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe.
So that's pretty great, and that's where the new CP housing will be.
Yeah,
So
that
that'll
is.
be fantastic.
I'm pretty excited about the Drury hotel. Drury.
The one on Drury Lane?
Yes,
Yes.
that one.
That one.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that. We stayed at one in Atlanta when we drove across the country from Seattle when we first moved here, and it was a cool place. Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
I think it's that'll then be the closest target on property. I mean, I know there's some others that are
That'll
not
be
the
closer to the
192 one
Yeah,
is
just
close, but
just very close to those, like in terms of getting onto property, because 192 you can also get there pretty easily on on Avalon.
It's just that it's nice that now it has that other side you can get to it over there. So
Yeah,
and it'll be much nicer than the existing ones, I'm sure.
exactly. So thank you, Craig. That's going to do it for the news. But we're going to move on to Roundtable Rapid Fire, and we are going to start with Mo. Take it away, Mo.
I had to think for a second. I was like, wait. Okay. Tell me if I talk too much about this, but
Too much.
too much. I got to ride Rise of the Resistance last week, and I waited for my boarding time, and I got there in the afternoon, and I got all the way to the part where the first pre-show section. I won't spoil it because if you haven't seen it already, I don't want to spoil it for you. Anyway, excuse me, I'm dying. They left us in that room for 10 minutes, and then they opened up the doors, and the cast member was like, "You guys are still in here?" And we're like, "What's happening?" They bring us back into the main lobby, and then they proceed 5 minutes later to bring us out so many snacks, so much food. They brought us out the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Dasani water bottles. They brought us chips, bananas, apple slices, cookies, boxed popcorn, and then they also brought the festive holiday caramel popcorn, which was very, very good. One of my favorites. Oh, and the Jack Jack cookie num num.
That's the lead right
Yeah.
there. Don't bury the lead. You
Yeah,
got
that-
Jack Jack's cookie num nums.
Yes, it was, and I got it for free. And each one of these things is like $5 to $8, and then they just kept bringing it to us. And I mean, I wasn't upset about it. And like we ended up waiting for about an hour before it came back up again. But they were very accommodating. They took very good care of us. Like, yeah, it sucked to wait an hour, but like I met friends, and the cast members were all very cheery and happy. And I mean, we had food, so I'm happy with food. I was like, someone needs to put on The Mandalorian, and we're good, because it was a Friday, and, and it would have been great. But my only curiosity is, I was still in the Resistance section. I wonder if later on in the ride, the people that were stuck in that part, if they got evac'd from the queue, or they got to sit and wait and got snacks. Because I feel like the theming would be a little questionable for that. So, but yeah, so they give you really good snacks if you get stuck. So I almost wanted to get stuck again because the snacks were so good.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Jackie.
So my rapid fire is that on last week's Disney Channel holiday special, they showed a clip of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and they showed some of the scenes. And when they first announced this attraction, they talked about 2.5D. And so I've been trying to sort of wrap my head around that since the announcement, and to figure out what that meant exactly, like between 2D and 3D, and how are they going to pull this off. So some of the scenes that they showed were really cool. They spoke with Imagineer Sharita Carter, and Sharita was really cute. She sort of took them around and showed them some of the scenes, and they were on the actual set of the ride. And she talked about Run Amok Park, where Mickey and Minnie get together and go on a perfect picnic is basically the start of the story. and they showed the Disney history, and they showed the train, and they got to see the locomotive, and it uses a tritone whistle that was featured in the 1928 original Steamboat Willie. So it was really special. We've got a video of that little clip that they shared on that holiday special on our site. So if you want to see it, I encourage you to watch it. It doesn't. I don't feel like it gives away too much of the ride, but it gives you a little taste of it. And it's going to open. The attraction's going to open on March 4th of 2020. So I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah.
Thank you, Jackie. Fiasco.
Yes. So this week we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of Avatar, and with that, Animal Kingdom is adding some colorful cupcakes and other things to the park. So this colorful cupcake is going to be available from the 17th, which is today, to the 19th at Pongo Pongo, and will serve. It's going to feature. It's a vanilla cupcake with blueberry cheesecake filling and blueberry buttercream. So on top of that, there is going to be a Q&A session on December 18th, if you follow the official Avatar Twitter, where they're going to show some behind-the-scenes content from the film. And also you can pick up some of the other things offered there in Pandora and celebrate and be a knobby with your ears and your tail and whatever else you want to pick up.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Fiasco. Denny.
All right, so Disney's Hollywood Studios is trying to make sure that everybody has a great experience with Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, and to get as many guests onto the attraction as humanly possible during the day. And so they have announced that there are now backup boarding groups that will happen. So by now, we all know the drill. So if you want to get on the ride, you get there at the crack of dawn. And you know, last Friday I got there at 6:30. Was able to get boarding group number 50. So once you're into the park and your ticket has been used for the day, you have the opportunity to log on to My Disney Experience and say, yes, I'd like a boarding group. And it'll assign you that number, and then you wait around for the day. So now, in order
No. You don't have to wait around in the park.
You don't.
Yes,
That's true.
Because you can leave and go wherever. You have 2 hours to
You
come
can
back.
go home and take a shower if you want to.
Exactly, which I
When
recommend.
the day I got stuck,
Right, don't
I
recommend.
got there super early in the morning, went home, ran, shower, ate lunch, and then I checked the thing. I'm like, oh no, my boarding group's coming up. I'm like, I better drive back now. So yeah, you
awesome.
got plenty of time.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
For sure.
I had hours and hours, but had my laptop with me, and so set up camp at Backlot Express. It was great. So anyhow, they're also, so they have a maximum amount of boarding groups a day. Sometimes it's 120. Today's is 107, according to My Disney Experience. So once it gets to a 107 and everybody goes, then the people who have signed up for the backup boarding groups earlier in the day will get the chance to go. Now, this is only, there's limited capacity, and of course Disney does not make any promises about you getting to go onto the attraction. But it's just an opportunity. If they get to the end of the boarding groups and you've got one of those backups, then you'll get to ride. Again, only one time a day. Guests only get to go on once. So this isn't something where you can pick up a backup if you've ridden earlier in the day. This is to get people on for the first time that day. So I love that they are trying to creatively think around this and to get as many guests on and allow them to have a great experience on the attraction.
I think it solves that problem of, like, I heard that when they had finished the boarding groups, they were just letting people come in the queue, and
Yes.
that kind of stinks for the people who were there maybe in the park all day waiting for that and then missed out. So I like that they're just basically like, you're not probably going to get in, but you can still put your name in.
It's like a waiting list.
Yeah,
So it's a wait list.
Yeah.
And that's I'm glad for that. So
Good.
great job.
Well, thank you, Denny.
you,
Rhino.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about some cruises for a second here. I don't know why. It was in the site updates, and I thought it was something other than maybe it was. But just so you guys know, there are these little thing called Star Wars Disney Cruises.
Star Wars Day at Sea.
Day at
Star
Sea.
Wars Day at Sea.
Star Wars.
Listen,
Star Wars.
I am reading right from this website.
Yeah, I
so-
know, but it is the Day at Sea. It's not an entire cruise devoted to Star Wars every single day.
Star Wars Day at Sea will be offered on 9 Disney Fantasy 7-night Caribbean cruises from Port Canaveral. And this is in 2020, departing January 11th, the 25th, and the 22nd of February. The Eastern Caribbean itinerary will be a part of that. And then departing February 8th, the Eastern Caribbean itinerary. Oh, nope, these are just changes in the itinerary. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I'm just going to read this whole thing, guys. Okay, so departing...
How about you just say that there's still availability for Star Wars Day at Sea cruises in early 2020 if it's something you're interested in.
And they sail from January 11th through February 29th selected days.
There you go. Thank you, Rhino.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So that's going to lead us into the last segment here on our show, and that is looking back at 2019. So we are going to go around, and every one of us will say one thing that was a highlight for us in 2019. You can repeat. You are allowed to repeat answers. So this is your opinion. So mine, I will start with because I think it'll be maybe 2 or 3 other people's. But mine for sure was Rise of the Resistance. It really put the star on 2019. Without it,
put the star in the wars.
It did. It did. And, I loved Galaxy's Edge without Rise of the Resistance, but there is no doubt that it is a complete different experience with and without Rise of the Resistance. And it really completes that land. It helps complete Hollywood Studios for the time being until the next stuff opens up. And I just cannot recommend it enough. Get there early, get on the ride, do what you have to do to get on it. It will not be disappointing to you. So that was mine. Who else would like to go?
Well, that was probably also mine. I think Rise of the Resistance is like we spoke about on the Disneyland show, like that will come out tomorrow. About highlights over there, and Galaxy's Edge, both coasts for me is definitely the highlight of the year in terms of Disney park stuff. But then the experience on Rise of the Resistance, like I feel like it was something. It was not like, oh, it brings me back to being a kid, but it was the first thing I've experienced at Disney in many years, maybe since I was a child, that I actually think fully and totally had this all-encompassing awe and amazement feeling as I did it. And so I think it was incredible, but also it was, unfortunate for Corey in his accident, but I was the person that stepped in his role. And so that was my first media event of that caliber. So it was cool for it to be on that. It was not cool that I had to we were putting our family dog to sleep in the middle of this event. So that was not fun, but it was an experience where I'm just like, I'll remember it. It was one of those where I think, 10 years from now, it won't be like, oh, remember that thing that happened that one time? It'll just be one of those like, wow, that was a really awesome experience.
Yeah.
Very special.
Yeah, for me, I'm right there with you. It's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge all the way around. It's Rise, but it's also Smuggler's Run, and it's also Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo. It's the whole enchilada. It's the whole package. I love it so much. I love how it is a different experience in the day as it is in the nighttime. I love Galaxy's Edge at night when everything is lit up, and I love the sounds of the ships that you hear flying overhead. It's just such an all-encompassing experience, and I will not forget the first time I laid eyes on the Millennium Falcon, and I just went, oh, okay, like I'm 7 again. This is amazing. So for me, it is that brand new, just that brand new feeling, that experience. And I agree with you, Rhino, just the feeling of wonder.
Yeah.
Being surprised and just delighted by something that was so beautifully crafted just for our enjoyment. It's spectacular.
Who's next?
So for me, this has been a crazy year for me. A lot has changed. I moved to Florida. I've been here for about a year now. I started working for the Diz, and my lifestyle of, I was in Massachusetts, and now I'm living in Walt Disney World, going to the parks on a daily basis. It's a dream come true. But if I was to hone in on one event on property that was like the biggest, like, oh my goodness, this is the coolest thing ever, was we did a VIP tour, like one of the really awesome VIP tours where like they shuttle you from park to park, take you wherever you want. Went up to Club 33. I've been to all the Club 33 lounges here on property, and that was a huge bucket list thing I've always wanted to do, was go to those lounges, and now I can say that I've done all of them. I got to do them all this year, so it was really awesome.
Stuff. This table, this side, this side.
So I am not the major Star Wars fan like everyone else. I think I saw one of the movies or part of it and fell asleep through part of it when I was a kid, and I just wasn't into the sci-fi thing. I think Galaxy's Edge is really cool, but the highlight for me for 2019 is that Walt Disney World opened the Skyliners. I think it's such a big deal that they introduced a whole new transportation means for people. And I was kind of scared when I first went on one, and I don't like heights, and I don't like when they go over the little towers because it bumps around, and I had some like fear issues with it, but it's fast. And I know from when we used to come visit from Seattle that time is money when you're at Walt Disney World. And when cast members tell you to allow up to 90 minutes to travel to your destination, they are not kidding. So it really does take that long when you're waiting for a bus or, even monorails. I think that the Skyliner is so cool. It's quick, and you're there before you know it. I think a lot of guests don't realize that the buses go around. They have certain ways that they have to travel. And a lot of times it's not the fastest A to B, but the Skyliners show you things that you've never seen before. And I'm just really jazzed about them. I think it's so cool. So,
I agree.
Yeah, that's mine.
Great. Morgan?
I think in addition to, like Corey said, getting hired this year and working for the Diz, and also Rise of the Resistance, like everybody's already mentioned, I was very fortunate, and one of the highlights of this year was to be able to come out here in August for the Dreams party and be able to go into Pandora for my first time, and then to be able to walk on Flight of Passage twice for my first ride. That was a pretty big highlight because I know not a lot of people, one, get to ride it, and then two, get to walk onto the ride. And just meeting a bunch of Diz fans, especially being so new and people knew me, and that was really exciting. So that was one of the highlights of Disney World and everything being here. So yeah, 2019.
Very cool. So that was 2019 for us, and it was a good year. 2020 will hopefully be even better, or it won't. So we'll have to wait and see.
One or the other.
Only good vibes. Good vibes.
Yes, but this is going to be it for this year on the Diz Unplugged. So we hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you again on January 7th, 2020 for another episode of the Diz Unplugged. Till then, everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.